Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the topmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Creation, Chapter 8, Prayers of Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved, text number 40. Ime janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Hi edhante tava bhikshitai. Ime janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Hi edhante tava bhikshitai. Ime janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Hi edhante tava bhikshitai. Ime janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Idante tava bhikshitai. Idante tava bhikshitai. Me janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Hi edhante tava bhikshitai. Matajis. Ime janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Hi edhante tava bhikshitai. Ime janapada svardha Supakbau sadhibiruddha Vanadri nadi udanvanto Hi edhante tava bhikshitai. Synonyms: Ime, all this. Janapadaha, cities and towns. Svardha, flourished. Supakva, mature, Ausadhi, herbs, Viruddha, vegetables, Vana, forests, Adri, hills, Nadi, rivers, Udanvantaha, seas, He, certainly, Edhante, increasing, Tava, by you, Vikshitaihi, seen. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Translation with repetition. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. The natural gifts such as grains, vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as He desires. Material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish in them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over the material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is no more than what we need. Minerals are produced in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are back to Kunti Maharani's prayers, isn't it? It's been some time. And what a wonderful words that we have in front of us today. Ime janapada svardha supak bausadhi viruddha vanadri nadi udanvanto hi edhante tava vikshitai. Ime, all this. Janapada svardha. Svardha is to flourish. Janapada, Prabhupada, is translated as cities and towns. Jana is human beings, pada is their feet. Ime janapada svardha. So wherever the people are living, svardha is flourishes. Ime janapada svardha supak bausadhi viruddha. Supakva is matured. Ausadhi is medicines or herbs. Viruddha is vegetables. Supak bausadhi viruddha vana adri nadi udanvanto. Vana is forest, adri is hills, nadi is rivers, udanvanto seas. Hi edhante tava vikshitai. The word edhante is increasing, or they are becoming filled with abundance. Tava vikshitai, by the glance of the Lord. This is what Kunti Maharani's prayers. All the cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. If you see carefully the translation, there are things which Prabhupada mentions which the verse doesn't talk exactly. So it says that because the herbs and grains are in abundance, the trees are full of fruits. It doesn't talk. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. That's how the flourishing part comes in actuality or in reality. And this is all due to your glancing over them. The purport is one of the, I would say, masterpiece by Srila Prabhupada, where he talks about the misdirected human beings trying to squeeze happiness from this material nature in their own concocted way, and what is the natural way of being happy, or what is the natural way of being prosperous. First line itself, Prabhupada is saying, human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. And Prabhupada explains that throughout this purport, beautiful purport which Prabhupada explains. And there are many powerful points which are made. I would talk about three things. What are those three things we will see? The first thing is in our life, what is the importance of following Krishna consciousness? Okay. It's a sentence. In our life, what is the importance of following? Learn. What is the importance of following the laws of nature? How does the spiritual master? From the purport, simplicity. Follow? Industrial enterprises, okay. Not to exploit what we have, whatever Lord has given. Keep chasing for more. You see, there is one very important thing which only the human beings can do. It's the animals, insects, trees, other living entities cannot do. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says he comes specifically for that one reason when there is some decline in that. ब्रजेश सोनी, एक परित्राण है, कहाँ परित्राण है उससे पहले? हाँ, you're right. No. Full verse. What is that verse? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata. So whenever there is a decline in the religious principles, the Lord has to come. Question is, what is this religious principles? And why the decline of the religious principles make the Lord to come and appear? If that is clear, because this whole thing is talking about following some rules and regulations, being simple, following the laws of nature, which is all boils down to that one thing called dharma. So let us understand what this dharma is. This is the first point that I am trying to make, and then I will tell you the second and third point which will come very nicely, very beautiful points which are related to this. But the first thing is, what is dharma? To understand dharma, actually different people understand dharma based on their intellectual humility. Some people think dharma is not needed. Religion is the opium of masses. You know the statement? Religion is the opium of masses. Why religion is there in the society? Some people think that, it's like opium. Opium is, what is it in Hindi? What is it? Ganja? Ganja, charas. Charas लेने के बाद आदमी को कुछ पता रहता है? Suppose anybody has taken here? But you know, right? Charas लेने के बाद आदमी just gone. So some people think in the society, religion is created so that mass of the people will be in some kind of hallucination. Dharma hai, Bhagavan hai, and some whose leader, they can control this masses by saying that I know everything about religion, so people will be controlled. This is one view about religion. Religion is the opium of masses. There is another view which is more popular, more acceptable in the society, where people take up this path of religion so that they get in return some economic benefits. I come to the temple, I may say so many reasons why I am coming, Krishna Prem, ye wo, sab theek hai, great, but deep within I want some benefits from the Lord. And I want to do it in a very legal, authorized, bona fide way, isn't it? That's why we sing that song, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. In that there is one line which comes, Sukh Sampati Ghar Aave, Kasht Mite Tanka, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Sukh Sampati aana chahiye. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए. That's why people go to different, it doesn't matter whether it is Hinduism or any other religion, people go to different religious places, follow the scriptural injunctions so that they do all their activities, and also the Lord sanctions. By the sanction of the Lord, there are sanctioning authorities which is mentioned in different religions, and if we get those sanctions by following some rules and regulations, why not? Let us do that, so that we get some sukh sampati and we will enjoy with that. This is the second popular belief about religion. But then some people think, if at all it is, the business is to enjoy, and the enjoyment is anyway available in this society through various ways. By using my intelligence, I can get it. Why should I go to temple? Why should I go to church? Why should I go to mosque? Why should I follow some rules and regulations? I can use my intelligence, I will use the technology, I'll make some newer and newer advancement. So those people, they believe science is religion. Science is giving everything. No, why you have to go to God? Foolish people here. So intelligent I am, I'll get it my way. So nothing wrong. I mean, if you see in one way, these two people are similar. The goal is enjoyment. One is thinking in pious activity. By doing some piety, I will get it by going to temple, mosque, church, praying, following some do's and don'ts. The other one is an atheistic, but the goal is same, enjoyment. But he's saying I don't need God. By some science or something, I can get it. Then comes Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam says, Dharma projita kaitavo atro paramo nirmad saranam sata. Dharma projita. Projita is to kick. Projita kaitavo atro. This kaitava dharma has to be kicked out. This is what Bhagavatam says. Now, what is that dharma that we have to kick out? And why some dharma is called cheating religion? What exactly is dharma? How do we know it? And how do we see who are the people who are really practicing dharma? That's why if you carefully hear Bhagavatam, if you read Bhagavatam very nicely, Prabhupada talks about two Bhagavatam. Book Bhagavatam, person Bhagavatam. So book Bhagavatam said Dharma Projita. But how do we see? We have to see in the lives of the person Bhagavatam who are practicing that. And great examples are given in Bhagavatam in various places. And I will show you one place. It will come in another 2-3 chapters where there is an example mentioned about King Yudhishthir. And when Yudhishthir Maharaj was ruling, how everything was flourishing. Whatever is mentioned here, just because one pious religious king was ruling, everything was flourishing. And we will see that just in a minute. So dharma projita kaitava. We read, every day every time nashta prayeshu abhadreshu we say, the translation of that is very important. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee. So book Bhagavatam and person Bhagavatam both are there. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service to the Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, Uttama Shloka. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Naishtiki bhakti, it is irreversible. Some things, 2 hydrogen plus oxygen, it becomes 2 water. You can't reverse it. It's irreversible. So bhakti in our heart will come as an irreversible process. We will overcome so many anarthas. So let's take the example of, I'll read a portion from Bhagavatam where when King Yudhishthir was ruling, the city was flourishing. It is mentioned very beautifully in Bhagavatam. So it is saying, the rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers and active drugs in every season paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. Since Maharaj Yudhishthir was under the protection of the Ajita, the infallible Lord, as above mentioned, the properties of the Lord, namely the rivers, oceans, hills, forests, etc., were all pleased, and they used to supply their respective quota of taxes to the king. Actually, people even don't know that if we have a righteous, spiritual, religious leader at the top, all the necessities will be supplied by the Lord. People don't have even that concept. In the more and more we get degraded and ruled, or we have a person who's at the top who's sinful, demoniac, atheistic, the more the supplies will be less. So Prabhupada is writing, the secret to success is to take refuge. See, it is in italics. The secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Without His sanction, nothing can be possible. To make economic development by our own endeavors on the strength of the tools and machineries is not all. The sanction of the Supreme Lord must be there. Otherwise, despite all instrumental arrangements, everything will be unsuccessful. The ultimate cause of success is Daiva, the Supreme King, the Supreme. Kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir knew perfectly well that the king is the agent of the Supreme Lord to look after the welfare of the mass of people. Actually, the state belonged to the Supreme Lord, the rivers, oceans, forests, hills, drugs, etc., not creation of man. They are all creations of the Supreme Lord. And the living being is allowed to make use of the property of the Lord for the service of the Lord. Today's slogan is that everything is for the people, and therefore the government is for the people and by the people. But to produce a new species of humanity at the present moment on the basis of God consciousness and perfection of human life, the ideology of godly communism, the world has to again follow in the footsteps of kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir or Parikshit. There is enough of everything by the will of the Lord, and we can make proper use of things to live comfortably without enmity between man and man, or man and animal, or man and nature. The control of the Lord is everywhere. And if the Lord is pleased, every part of nature will be pleased. The river will flow profusely to fertilize the land. The oceans will supply sufficient quantities of minerals, pearls and jewels. The forest will supply sufficient wood, drugs and vegetables, and the seasonal changes will effectively help produce fruits and flowers in profuse quantity. The artificial way of living depending on factories and tools can render so-called happiness only to a limited number of the cost of millions. Since the energy of the mass of people is engaged in factory production, the natural products are being hampered, and the mass is unhappy. Without being educated properly, the mass of people are following in the footsteps of the vested interests by exploiting natural reserves, and therefore there is acute competition between individual and individual, nation and nation. There is no control by the trained agent of the Lord. We must look into the defects of modern civilization by comparison here, and should follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Yudhishthira to cleanse man and wipe out anachronisms. It's a very powerful purport. Same thing, exactly what we just read, same thing, but the only thing here is, because Yudhishthira Maharaj was following the principles of religion, which is what we are trying to understand, everything was flourishing. So what exactly, so I spoke about religion being the opium of masses, or somebody is using it as a means for sense gratification. What is the correct understanding? So that's why I am telling this verse, very important, because dharma projita, when Bhagavatam says, we have to see in the lives of people who are actually following dharma. So if you see this particular chapter, it begins 1.10.1, where Saunaka Muni is asking a very interesting question. He is asking, after killing his enemies who desired to usurp his rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all religious men, Maharaj Yudhishthira, assisted by his brothers, rules his subjects? Surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. Saunaka Rishi, the sages headed by Saunaka Rishi, is asking this question to Sutta Goswami. How did King Yudhishthira rule? So the word that is used for King Yudhishthira is called Dharma Bhratam Varishtaha. Dharma Bhratam Varishtaha. Dharma Bhratam, who strictly follow the religious principles, Varishtha. He is the greatest of Dharma Bhratam. How did he rule? It's a very important question. Why it is an important question? Now Yudhishthira Maharaj has been installed as the king of the entire Bharatavarsha. Entire Bharatavarsha includes the entire Prithvi, this entire material world. How did he become the king? Well, all his enemies have been wiped out. They've been destroyed in this war of Kurukshetra, the battle of Mahabharata. He has got his loyal, obedient brothers who are ready to lay down his lives. Just by one instruction of Yudhishthira Maharaj gives, they are ready to follow anything. And they're very powerful, valorous, very strong. They are ready to protect his kingdom. Imagine the situation if any one of us, हम तो एक छोटा मोटा नौकरी के लिए भी struggle कर रहे हैं. All of a sudden, I've been told that I am the king of this entire world. Whatever I need, everything is available at my disposal. I have got loyal, able, strong followers who will protect me. Bhima, Arjuna. And I've got everything to do. What am I doing? Am I enjoying unrestrictedly? What am I doing? That is what Saunaka Rishi is asking. He is Dharma Vratam Varishtaha. Yudhishthira Maharaj is Dharma Vratam Varishta. When he became king, what did he do? We know from Bhagavad Gita the verse that we, in the 16th chapter, divine and demoniac nature, Krishna says, what is that? Siddhoham Balavan Sukhi, what is that? What is it? Ishwaroham Balavan Bhogi. Ishwaroham Balavan Bhogi. Siddhoham Bhagavan Sukhi. That verse. Ishwaroham, everybody wants to become, I am the most powerful person. I want to enjoy the whole world, and this whole world is meant for my enjoyment. Technically, if you see, Yudhishthira Maharaj had the choice of becoming like that, to feel like that. What did he do? Question is, what did he do? Yudhishthira Maharaj knew that even though he was the king, he has been installed as a king by the Supreme Lord himself. He never forgot his position, and he always remembered that he's a servant of Krishna. He was serving, acting on his behalf. Same thing what Yudhishthir Maharaj did is also applicable to each one of us. In this material world, Krishna has given us some facilities. Little bit, you've been given a particular body, some kind of intelligence, some money, some wealth. We should utilize that in Krishna's service. This is the real dharma. How? Why? Let's take some examples. Prabhupada gives some very powerful examples to drive home the point. Very, very nice examples. One of the things which Prabhupada says is, imagine, do you have a bank account? Not yet. Okay. Who has bank account? Okay. So you have a bank account, and you go to, let's say Bank of America, and you stand before Bank of America, you call reporters, followers, everybody, people have gathered, we're going to make some announcement, and you say, I renounce all the money of Bank of America. I'm so big, I've decided today, I'm going to renounce all the money of Bank of America. What do you think people will think about you? थोड़ा तो कुछ तो पागल है, कुछ तो गड़बड़ है इधर, isn't it? Money that doesn't belong to you. How can you say that you can renounce that? Okay, then you say, okay, probably people are not giving me the due respect. Now you say, all the money which is there in Bank of America belongs to me. What will happen? People will think you are a thief, isn't it? That is what the karmis think. Karmis think this whole material world is mine. I am supposed to enjoy. It doesn't belong to us. Where is it mentioned? Ishopanishad, the first verse. Isavasyam idam sarvam yatkinchit jagatyam jagad tena tektena bhunjita माग्रथा कश्यचित धनम. ईशावास्यम इदम सर्वम यत् किंचित जगत्या. थोड़ा बहुत कुछ तो मेरा है, मेरा कपड़ा है ना ये तो, एटलीस्ट कैन आई से दिस दैट इट इज माइन? नो. यत् किंचित जगत्याम जगत, वेदर इट इज एकपाद विभूति, वेदर इट इज त्रिपाद विभूति, मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड, एवरीथिंग इज कृष्णा's. On one side, karmis, they think that this is ours, which is meant for enjoyment, and that is what is called the mentality of thieves. On another side, jnanis, this doesn't belong to us, but they say we renounce this. Arey, ye tumhara hai hi nahi. How can you renounce this? Like the madman who says, I am renouncing all the money of the Bank of America. So these are the two extremes. So the real thing is, everything belongs to Krishna. This material world, this material creation is Krishna's. I am also his. I am meant to engage everything that Krishna has given in his service. My body, my facilities, my wealth, my house, my whatever little the Lord has given me, I should engage it in Krishna's service. Moment we do that, life changes. We become satisfied, the Lord's mercy comes, everything becomes all right. Very interestingly, Prahlad Maharaj, in his prayers, he says, why people, why they don't figure it out, and why they are engaged in this material world, in what way? What is it that the equation has gone wrong, that, they are not able to figure it out? He says, Yasmat priya priya vyoga samyoga janma sokagnena sakala yonishu dahyamanaha. In this world, people are doing only 4 things. How many things? 4 things. Anybody knows what are those 4 things? No, don't go to it. Yasmat priya priya vyoga samyoga janma sokagnena sakala yonishu dahyamana. Very interestingly he says, okay, if you speculate, you will not get it. It's here only. Priya apriya vyoga samyoga janma. Yesterday's dessert was what, Badri? Rasmalai. Prabhu missed it, I think. It didn't go to WPA? Yeah. You also missed it, Chaitanya. Maybe it will be there, then you can take it. But imagine, Rasmalai is your favorite dessert. Okay. And you got to know as Rasmalai hai. On the menu somehow it is leaked. So the moment that Rasmalai comes, or you become united with it, there is pleasure, Priya. Yasmat Priya Apriya Vyoga Samyoga. So there are only 4 things which is happening as per Prahlad Maharaj is telling. There are some things which we like and we want to get united with them. I like Rasmalai, and the Rasmalai comes, I love that experience. But then that is Samyoga. But then somehow it is, the moment you take that Rasmalai, put it in your mouth, Rasmalai is over. Vyoga. The thing that you want to have is gone now. Right? So one side you want to have union with things which you like, but it is, after some time it is gone. Other side, imagine, which one you don't like? Anything? मान लो करेला सब्जी है, माताजी खाती है? नहीं, झूठ मत बोलिए. You made करेला सब्जी, उसके सामने लाके रख दिया कटोरी में भर के, आज बेटी करेला खा. तो बेटी को तो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, देख रहा है करेला, अभी क्या करेगा सोच रही है, मतलब खाऊं कि नहीं खाऊं. सो मदर इज गिविंग रैशनल, नहीं हेल्थ के लिए बहुत अच्छा है. वो करेला खाया, कैसे तो खाया, खाने के बाद ऐसा कुछ मूव करके उसको फेंक दिया. थिंग्स विच यू डोंट लाइक, they come to your life and you want to get rid of them. So things which we like, we want to unite with them, but that is taken away. Things which we don't like, they are somehow, they also come to us and we want to avoid them. So there is always an endeavor to have things which we want to have and, push away or remove things which we don't like. Right? There is a constant endeavor which is going on. But what Bhagavatam is telling, in this whole process, that endeavor that we are making, Kshulla Sukhaya, Mahat Usme, that little happiness that we may get in this insignificant happiness, for that lot of endeavor, a lot of hard work, lot of miseries, Kshulla Sukhaya. But we are Yasmat Priya Vyoga Samyoga Janma Sokagnina Sakala Yonishu Daihyamana, and we are getting burned in this. This is what Prahlad Maharaj is praying and saying. So what is it then, the principles of Dharma? Principles of Dharma is very simple. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahetuki apratihata ye atma suprasidati. So we have to understand, when we engage in service of Krishna, when we engage in the service of the Lord, all our senses, all our body, when we do that, we completely become satisfied. Ahetuki apratihata ye atma suprasidati. So when this principle is not known, or this principle is missing, the definition of dharma is missing in our life, we struggle, and the struggle just continues. Big time the struggle continues. Actually, the struggle is felt and seen and realized by each one of us in our mother's womb. It is a very beautiful prayer which comes in the prayer by the unborn child, where he says, Tasmad aham vigata viklava uddharishya atmanam asu tamasa suhurdatmanaiva bhuyo yatha vyashanam etad aneka randhram mame bhavishyad upasadita vishnupada. Very powerful verse, very, very powerful verse. Actually, our precarious position, we get a sense of it when we are about to take birth. Tasmad aham vigata viklava buddharishya. The unborn child prays like a prisoner who is there in a cell, in a jail, in a prison house. Similarly, we are trapped in our mother's womb. Why are we trapped? The soul, the unborn child, knows it because we have forgotten Krishna. We are Krishna Vimukha. That's why we are trapped in this mother's womb. Tasmadaham. So that's why he is making a strong determination. Tasmadaham vigata viklava uddharishya. This life I will not forget. At any cost, I will, all these distractions, whatever it is, I'll keep them away. I'll keep them at bay. Tasmadaham Bigata Biklava Uddharishya Atmanam. From this darkness I'll come out by the help of Krishna. Bhuyo Yatha Vyashanam Etad Anekarandhram. I have entered into many of these so Anekarandhram, many times. Bhuyo Yatha Vyasanam, only to enjoy. I have entered into this of so many mothers. Mame Bhavishyad. In future I will not do this. I don't want to get into any more randhras. Bhuyo Yatha Vyasanam Etad Anekarandhram. Mame Bhavishyad. Upasadita Vishnupada. How will you not enter? By remembering the lotus feet of Krishna. So this sense of our precariousness, our helplessness is experienced by the soul when it is about to take birth, when it is about to take this sthula and sukshma sarira, when it is about to get covered. It gets that remembrance. But when it comes out of the mother's womb, again, it is put into that kind of forgetfulness. That pain is so much that he forgets this realization and gets madly engrossed in this material world and continues this journey. So what is the solution? How does he come out? It is only possible by the mercy of a pure devotee. When we start seeing things as we are supposed to, right? Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhaktilata Bij. So this is the real definition of dharma. Actually, people don't understand what dharma is. Even if we take up to this path of devotion, in deep within we have also got so many material desires. When all those material desires are completely zero, anya bhilasita sunyam, jnana karmadi anabratam, anukulyena krishnanu silanam bhaktiruttama. So when we get rid of all this material desire, save and accept, only serve the Lord, that we can follow the real principles of religion. There are a few more interesting points which Prabhupada is making. This is the first point that I said. There are two more points that I said I will mention. The second point which Prabhupada mentions in the purport is a very interesting point. So he's saying the word that you should remember, the second point from the purport is Tava Vikshitai, by the glance of the Lord. Actually, if somebody considers himself to be fortunate, it is only possible if there is merciful glance of the Lord on him or his whoever near and dear ones. And it is not easy, though the Lord is always looking for that. But since people are Krishna Vimukha, they have turned their face away from it, the glance, the mercy doesn't fall. And no matter what, whichever situation, first I should be satisfied. Whatever the body Lord has given, whatever conditions he has put me in, whatever material, wealth, opulence, whatever he has given, I should be satisfied with it and think that this is Lord's glance, this is Lord's mercy. There is a reason I'm going through some experience in my life. There is a reason I've been given this body, and it is by the mercy of the Lord that I'm so happy. I've been given so many things to be engaged in his service. Tava Bhikshita is a very important thing. But there is another thing which Prabhupada mentions towards the end, very powerful thing. What we need therefore, if you see the last but one line, the purport, what we need therefore is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. What we need therefore is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. This point of surrendering or obedience to the Supreme Lord and his representative is a very important thing, and that is how one can achieve the perfection of human life. This is the third point. Ichhadvesha, we know that particular verse, right? Ichhadvesha samuthena dvanda mohena bharata sammoham sarva bhutani sarge yanti parantapa. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. Ichha and dvesha, this desire to enjoy, and dvesha, the lack of obedience or being envious of Krishna, puts us in this situation. But the contrary to that, when we become obedient to the laws of the Lord and his representative, especially to spiritual master and guru, the path of success in spiritual life becomes wide open. Actually, the more one learns to become obedient to the instructions of the spiritual master, the more he makes advancement in spiritual life. We will take one example. So in Bhagavatam, there is one particular incident which happens where Indra, the king of heavens, disobeyed his spiritual master. Who was his spiritual master? He disobeyed his spiritual master. So basically, Brihaspati walked in and he was wearing a garland. He removed his garland and gave it to King Indra. But Indra was so puffed up, he was, he always sometimes forgets his own position. So he threw it and it was crushed by Airavat. Right? So it was a disrespect to his spiritual master. So because of that one thing, whenever there is this battle of devatas and the demons, it used to happen, they were always losing the battle. Whereas in the other case, the demons led by Bali Maharaj, being very obedient to Sukracharya, were winning the battle. There is a very nice story which comes, I don't know, many of you might be knowing, but that drives the point so powerfully. So when this thing was going on, this battle between devatas and the demons, and the devatas were constantly losing, they thought, what should we do? How do we become victorious over them? This the guru of demons, Sukracharya, had one mantra which is called Atma Sanjeevani mantra. So even if you die, he had the power to chant that mantra and bring back the person to life. So this was known to the devatas. So what they did, very interestingly, this Brihaspati, who's the gurus of the devatas, had a son by name थोड़ा साइलेंस देना चाहिए, नहीं तो लोग आधे टाइम तो किधर रहते हैं, कौन सा दुनिया में पता नहीं. Starts with K. Huh? Kapil Dev? No. Which day, bro? Huh? Huh? Kartike. Good to laugh also. It's Kacha. Kacha. Huh? कश्यप नहीं, कश्यप नहीं अलग है, दूसरे जगह पे बैठे हूँ. So Kach, he was very young and he goes to this Sukracharya's place. So basically Brihaspati told that somehow or other you have to get that Sanjeevani mantra, and that you can get it by going to Sukracharya. Go and serve him very nicely. So imagine, you're a police. Sometimes in the movies they show, right? You go as a thief and then be in the gang of the thieves, learn their tricks, and then come back and share it, and then the police will go and attack. Something like that. So much risk. What if you're caught? Problem ho jayega. But anyway, Kach goes and he serves very obediently the spiritual master of demons, Sukracharya. Somehow or other, like it happens in movies also, isn't it? He was caught. Kach was caught by the demons that he has come to take this secret. So what they did was, they killed him. Finished. Killed him and they fed the body to their dogs. गया कहाँ से मिलेगा अभी तो खत्म हो गया. Proof भी चला गया. There is no proof that he was there or something. Now it is in the body of the dogs. But interestingly, this Sukracharya had a daughter by name Devayani. She fell in love with Kach, that Kach. And then she went and begged to Sukracharya, somehow or other you have to bring him back to life. So Sukracharya did that Atma Sanjeevani mantra, he chanted that mantra, and Kach was alive. So when Kach was alive and then everything was going fine, the demons again got to know, "Arey, ye fir se aa gaya, he is alive this time." So then this time what they did was, they took him to a secluded place, they killed him, they made a paste out of him, the body. Pura paste, grind karke usko paste kar diya. These are all things there. It is not that, sometimes we see some bodies being burned or something. Where do they get these ideas? These are all there. Paste, they made a paste out of his body and then they put it in the ocean. Finished. This is worse than the first one. But somehow again Devayani goes and cries, hey, somehow you have to bring him back to life and all. So he had to chant that mantra. Again he came back. Kach was alive. Third time, something very interesting they did. They killed him. They burnt him to ashes. Okay. The Sukracharya is the guru of Devatas, isn't it? Sukracharya is the guru of demons. So Sukracharya had the habit of drinking wine. So they, burnt him to ashes. That ashes, they mixed it with the wine. It was very nice drink. Taste karke dekho. Sukracharya didn't know what it was, so he drank. Oh, very tasty. Pee gaya pura. So now Kach is there in his belly. So if he has to chant Atma Sanjivani mantra, he has to die. So then what to do? So that is how he first told it to his daughter. And he told, I'll chant. And then Kach will come to life. You again tell him. Because it has to be chanted by Kach, not by his own kins. So Kach only, if he chants, then I'll come back to life. So by the will of the Providence, Kach get to know the mantra, Atma Sanjivani mantra. Point I am trying to make, because Kach was so loyal, obedient to the instruction of his guru or his father, which is Brahaspati, he went into that place and he became victorious. So this point of being obedient to our spiritual authority, to our spiritual master, following it very strictly, is the secret of success in spiritual life. The more we are humble, the more we try to become obedient, the more this secrets of the spiritual life will be revealed. The more we think we know everything, I don't care, I can do it my way, if not this through some other way I'll try, the more we'll be frustrated. So these are some of the points from this verse, very, very interesting verse. There are more things to cover, but I'll stop here and see if you have any questions or comments. Did I cover everything? There is one thing which I missed anyway. Any questions? That is third canto, 31 chapter, 21st verse. Bhuyo yatha vyasanam etad anekarandhram ma me bhavishyad upasadita vishnupadaha. Therefore, without being agitated anymore, tasmadaham vigata viklava uddharishya, I shall deliver myself from the darkness of nations with the help of my friend, clear consciousness. That's actually Paramatma. Atmanam asu tamasaha suhrudatmanaiva. Simply by keeping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in my mind, I shall be saved from entering into the wombs of many mothers for repeated birth and death. बताओ, खाया ना रसमलाई और करेला खाया ना? One is you want to be in union with things that you want, but that is taken away. So this is two. The one is you don't want to have unpleasant things, but they come and you want to avoid them. So that is 2. 2 to 4. क्या करेला खाते हो, रसमलाई खाते हो, कुछ याद नहीं रखते हो? At the time of coming to the material world, when the delivery is about to happen, at that time, when he is about to come out of it, just before that, there is a remembrance of his past lives comes. Because the consciousness takes time to develop. Initially, it is the soul is entered, and whatever the description which is given in Bhagavatam, around 6-7 months, when he gets the remembrance. Yeah, so that's where he remembers, and he says, enough. I'm making this determination. I'll not get disturbed by all this. This is what he says. Tasmad, yasmad priya. No, sorry. Tasmadaham vigata viklava uddharishya. That without being agitated anymore, I shall deliver myself from this darkness of nations. But again the forgetfulness comes and the jiva gets contaminated. There's a very nice verse which song which is written by our Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's telling Swarupa Arthair Hina. Swarupa Arthair. I've forgotten my constitutional position. Nija Sukha Paran Krishna Bhumukhan. So I'm searching for my happiness by being away, averse from Krishna. I've turned my face away. Swarupartha Hair Hinan Nija Sukha Paran Krishna Vimukhan Harer Maya Dandyan Guna Nigada Jalai Kalayati. Since I am searching away from Krishna and I've forgotten my constitutional position and I'm looking for happiness, Harer Maya Dandyan. Then Harer Maya, the external energy of the Lord, is punishing me. Harer Maya Dandyan Guna Nigada Jalai Kalayati Tatha Sthuler Linger Dvi Bidha Baranai Klesha Nikarari. Tatha Sthuler Linger. So there are two coverings, Sthula Sarira, the gross body, and Linger is the subtle body. And they are very tightly tied, Sthula and Sukma. Tatha Sthuler Linger Dvi Bidha Baranai Klesha Nikarair Mahakarma Alanair. Alanair is actually a chain. Mahakarma, because of the reactions of our past karma, that is, the Sthula and Sukma Sharira is tied with that strong chain, very strongly. Nayati Patitan Swarga Nirayu. So, and in that position, I'm sometimes kicked from my top on my head or sometimes from the bottom. So, either I'm going to Swarga or going to hell. This is what is our position. Forgetting Krishna, forgetting our constitutional position, I'm searching for happiness, turning away from Krishna. But what is happening? Because of that, Harer Maya Dandyan. So the external energy of the Lord is punishing us. How is He punishing? Giving us these two coverings, Sthula and Lingair. And they are very tightly tied with a chain, very strong shackle. What is that chain? Chain is of the reactions of our past karma. And in that way, we are being kicked from the top and from the bottom, either going up or down in this material world. What it says. So one, yeah. Which is set aside as his quota. Whatever Lord has given, be satisfied with that. That's the first thing which is needed. What body the Lord has given, whatever problems are there, whatever material resource the Lord is giving, be satisfied. Lord has kept aside that is for us for some reasons. Don't compare, don't feel that why this much or I should have more and all those things. That is the problem. Being satisfied is a very important thing. There is a story of Ramanujacharya where he had some of his sannyasi disciples who were very proud of their detachment. Okay. So one day they were going in some kind of pilgrimage where they stopped in one place to take bath. So all the sannyasis, they kept their kopins at different place. My kopin, your kopin, and they went and took bath in the river. In the meantime, what Ramanujacharya did was, he got those kopins mixed, misplaced. Iska idhar, uska udhar, sab kar diya. They came and they, Arey, ye mera kopin hai. No, ye nahi, ye to kala, ye tera nahi, ye iska hai. And they're fighting. So this concept of aham mameti is very strong. Externally wearing the robes of sannyasi is easy, detached. But that aham mameti doesn't go so easily. So that's why being satisfied is a very important. Nahi to aur chahiye. That is what that Iswaraham Bhagavan Sukhi, that verse that comes in Bhagavad Gita. So much wealth I have today, more and more will come my way. All my, what is that? All my enemies, no. All my enemies I will kill. This is my will, I will fulfill. So this is what we think. No, so he came out and he gave this thing to Devatas. Devatas became powerful. There are other things, of course. Devatas also realized their fault. They took shelter of Vishnu. Vishnu said, now the time is, Kala is very bad. Don't do anything. Rather go and do Sandhi. When they try to make, Sandhis? Truce. So they came to Samudra Manthan and then all those things happened and they got finished. Somehow Krishna will help. But the difference between devatas and demons is devatas, even though they sometimes become forgetful of Krishna, they never forget the real position of the Supreme Lord. For any problem, they go to Him. Whereas the demons don't think like that. They think, now we have become powerful, we don't need Lord. We are self-sufficient. We'll manage on our own. That is what is our problem, demoniac tendency, where we also feel the real dharma, which I was talking in the beginning, is actually to understand our dependency on the Supreme Lord. We are dependent on Him. We are His part and parcel. We don't have any independent existence. This understanding, when it comes, then we are safe. The whole scriptures, the scriptural injunctions are telling how to develop that feeling. How do we come to that understanding who we are and how we surrender our lives to Krishna and be very happy in life. You don't have to unnecessarily take worries and tensions. Nothing is needed. No. Why? No. In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says he's equal to everyone, but those who are devotees, he's partial to. I mean, he's Name Dveshyas. I mean, I'm not getting that exact verse, but meaning is he doesn't have any partiality. But someone who's obedient, who's following his instructions, naturally becomes dear. You have some 3 children, and दोनों गधे हैं, सुनते नहीं है बात. एक है जो सुनता है. भले ही they are your children and you love them, but the person who is listening to you will become more dear. Same holds true, the principles. If we become obedient to Krishna, if we follow His laws, naturally we will be dear to Him. That's it. That doesn't mean that the atheists are killed or annihilated by the law. He's maintaining them. But the devotees are dear. It's not like by following you, तुम जाके उनको बोल रहे हो कि अरे मैं फॉलो कर रहा हूँ. ये natural है. Naturally there is affection for someone who is obedient. So wonderful verses of Bhagavatam and wonderful revelations when we see them very nicely and read and appreciate this. So we will continue to see these prayers offered by great Kunti in her emotional and devotional outpour in subsequent classes. We'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.